Our story starts with three people running through a Hovis advert while a portly child and his dog stare at the Tyne. Our story is set in Newcastle, where the streets are paved with litter and the locals have a sing-song dialect that would make the angels chew a trumpet.
How are you, Plod? You coming home for a bite to eat?
Our lead character, inexplicably known as Spuggy, lives in a weird house that has a sliding door, two windows and a giant opening leading from the hallway into the smoke-stained front room that houses nothing but jazz mags, a coffee table, and 15,000 jackets. This level of northern poverty means that the only way to survive was eating biscuits straight out of the biscuit tin while watching the news on a 4-inch television.
The Great North Run, a great day for the North East, and with the whole of Newcastle looking forward to the Great North Run. It's not long now to the big day. Last year there were a record number of entries, and this year everyone will be there, either taking part or cheering on their friends and loved ones. So, how about you? Are you a runner? See you there!
On the Mickey Stone Show today, we're going to be talking about running.
Apparently the only news in the entire world today is about running, because this was 1988 and literally nothing else was happening.
Hi, Spuggy. Oh, hi, Janie. Guess what? You gone to the Great North Run?
No, my dad's home. His ship's just arrived. He's got nearly 2 weeks at home.
Hi. Hey, that's great then.
But you're lucky though, having your dad home such a lot.
It's great. But I wish he still had a job though.
These are definitely real conversations Geordie children have, and they are in no way hamming up the Geordie accent to make it seem like a mythical land to Londoners who forgot there's anything north of Birmingham. Moving on with the story, Spuggy begs some pigeons for spare change in order to fuel his biscuit addiction, but this is an educational title, and his young friend decides now is the perfect time to ask about all this pigeon malarkey her friend is so clearly obsessed with.
Spuggy, how does racing pigeons always find their way home, even if they start a race hundreds of miles away?
I don't know. Nobody knows. They're just special.
Good, hard facts. But who cares about pigeons? It's time to switch over to our resident letter-bedazzled diaphragm, who's currently sat in a darkened room surrounded by sticky magazines.
My name's Wordy, and I'll be making sure it all happens.
Looks like it's already happened, Wordy, my friend. Wordy explains to us he's at Radio Newcastle because we definitely need more hammy Geordie accents up in this bitch. And would you look at that headshot? Definitely not giving off nonce vibes. Oh, no, wait. He is one. Well, he did work for the BBC. The chances were pretty high.
Hi, Wordy. All set?
Just waiting for you, Mickey.
I brought the special look and read discs you wanted.
Oh, well done. The turntables are all ready to play them on.
After Wordy has finished yet another unnecessary orgasm, the DJ of the hour puts his Gary Glitter record on hold so he can slowly say words to the idiot children forced to watch this, so they can understand what those hieroglyphics in their book mean. But we're interrupted by an important message.
Mickey, there's a message for you.
Oh, yes. I forgot to show you my message screen. It's so people can contact me when I'm on the air. It's linked up to a computer out there somewhere.
Mickey, the message.
But Wordy's taken it over.
It's not working properly. There's still some bugs in the system.
Please play the Fliers flying song.
Okay, but listen up. I'm gonna break it down.
Watching Gandhi till I'm charged, writing in my book of rhymes, all the words past the mark. The whole of mic of throbbing, mechanical movement, understandable smooth shit that murderers move with.
With our song finished, Wordy decides it's a good idea to listen to that song again, but remove all the words where the singer mentions a word beginning with FL. This results in a hilarious piece of footage that I didn't even need to edit, where it sounds like they've censored the video because she's singing about fucking pigeons.
Saturday night I went for a and I started to very high. I didn't go as I followed my map, I simply went by.
Exercise affects the whole of your body, even the parts inside you that you can't see. These children are doing a simple test.
Stop talking about children's innards, Mickey.
People who come from Newcastle are often called Geordies.
That's why blue flashes a Geordie Racer. Oh, Let's have some more of the story, Mickey.
Okay.
Oh good, we finally get back to the actual story we were here to watch in the first place. Please bear in mind that 50% of the entire runtime of this episode has been dedicated to this masturbating robot and his convicted carer.
How could you tell which one's Blue Flash? They all look the same to me.
I can tell because I know 'em. Don't a Blue Flash. But each racing pigeon's got one of these rings, see? And each ring's got a number on it. Bit like condom plates, really.
As someone who watched this very young, I can tell you that this educational title about reading only taught me two things. One of them was what the rings on a racing pigeon's foot were for, and the other thing was what Geordies eat.
Right, you're going by the pigeon feed and I'll buy the stotties.
Janie went to buy the stotties.
If that price listing makes you upset, don't worry, we all feel that way. Time to meet an old man who also loves boards.
No, that's Spuggy lad. You alright?
Great, thanks, boss.
Is that Blue Flash of yours in good fettle for the race on Saturday?
Aye, just perfect.
Well, I hope he doesn't mind coming second.
Blue Flash never comes second.
He will. He'll not beat my perfect lady.
Yeah, I will see about that.
Aye, man, I will. He will.
Yeah, I will.
You alright?
Aye.
Good, healthy bird bants. I'm honestly not sure what any of this is doing to add to the plot or the characters, or really the interest of anyone currently watching. I've edited this market section down to a very slim segment, but it's a solid few minutes of aimlessly fannying about. I hope someone who's actually exciting turns up soon.
They wanted to find a good spot to eat their stotties.
Aye.
Right, cheese and tomato or ham and
Oi! You! Out of the way!
Yes, shouting at children. That's what I'm talking about.
But he only took one bag.
Oh, that's the end of the episode. Well, I guess that's sort of a cliffhanger, if you compare it to literally anything else that happened during this introduction. Let's move on. Post! How exciting!
Next morning, there was great excitement at the Hilton's house.
Hey, Post!
It's our runners' packs. Oh, is it them?
Here's a look.
Great. Yes, that one's yours.
In each runner's pack was the number to be worn on the big day.
Ta-da! What number are you, Dad?
Oh, I can't wait to hear what number Dad's got.
26915.
God, I hope there's a book of information to look
There
through.
was also a book about the run.
Yes! Post day is so damn exciting. Anyway, Spuggy isn't doing the run because he's too busy stealing other people's food. But that's boring. Why is no one talking about running?
Mickey Stone here. Hands up if you've been for a run this morning.
Me.
You saw quite a few joggers when I was driving to the studio.
Well, thankfully, we can always rely on literally everyone else to talk about running.
I'm raising money for charity too, you know.
Shut up, Spuggy. No one cares about you because you're not running, which is the most important thing that anyone can do. Anyway, apparently that's enough story because we're back with these two time wasters. Wordy claims he's raising money for charity too.
Hello, Mickey.
Hi, Wordy.
How would you like to sponsor me?
Sponsor you? What are you up to?
I'm going to do a sponsored bounce.
It's what he's going to bounce on that I'm concerned about. And you don't want to know what's in his special sports bag.
Stotties. Stotties.
What are you doing, Mickey?
He's trying to do his fucking job, Wordy. He's a DJ. He's in a DJ booth. He's doing DJ things. Like choosing the most Geordie song he can find that isn't Jimmy Nail.
Take turn at ing. Build yourself a ward. All together now.
Right, I'm off to change into my tracksuit. Time for some training.
And I'm off for some bouncing practice.
Hurry, Red Watches.
What the fuck is this? And what the fuck is it holding? The last thing we need is yet another terrifying puppet teaching us about words. And it's time for our third song of the episode. Bear in mind that the only thing that's happened in the Geordie Racer story, part 2, so far, is that Spuggy stole a bit of toast. This is mind-bogglingly slow.
Full stop! Full stop! Full stop!
Finally back to the story, here's some old men eyeing up a bird.
Aye, bonny bird, say that.
Bonniest in Newcastle.
You found a new job yet, Ray?
I know. But I keep trying.
Look, I need another truck driver. Only part-time, like, but let us know if you've a mind.
So, didn't accept the job, didn't thank him for the offer. He's just gonna stand there and pretend like nothing happened. Incredible.
Aye, aye.
Dad, my mum's gone off to work. So just to let you know, I'm going for a run with my mates.
So she ran all the way here to tell her dad that she's running all the way somewhere else. This family might be a load of jobless oiks, but by God they can run. They run all the way to some sort of giant hall for some reason, but Spuggy gets a bus, obviously, because he can eat biscuits while he's on there.
Shall we have a look round while we're here?
Aye. It looks great.
But the hall wasn't open yet, and Stotties couldn't come in. The attendant said they could go into the gardens if they liked.
Fuck off over there, you bastards.
And he pointed the way.
Shh. It's the attendant.
But it wasn't. Kath, Spuggy and Janie ran down the passage, up and out into the gardens. Then they saw the man again.
Okay, so this cliffhanger was basically the same as the last cliffhanger, but this one was even stupider. The kids were at this hall for absolutely no reason, then they ended up in the cellars while looking for a garden, because apparently none of them can read, and then they just so happened to stumble across the same man from yesterday, and immediately assume he's definitely up to something, even though his crimes currently stand at picking up a bag and being in a cellar with a bag. He might just be a delivery man. And there again, the concept of a job is probably difficult for these guys to comprehend. I just want to point out that each of these episodes starts with the theme tune and a recap of what's happened that takes up 2.5 minutes of the 20-minute runtime. How on earth they could spend 2 solid minutes talking about what's happened so far when literally nothing has happened, I have no idea, but I feel it's worth mentioning just how much time is spent pissing up a pigeon coop when you've got 2.5 minutes dedicated to this, and then a further 10 to 12 minutes dedicated to Molestation Mickey and his masturbating booth mate. You'd expect them to therefore jam the Geordie Racer story with exciting events to balance it out, but no, nothing happens. Nothing has ever happened, and I'm very concerned that nothing is ever actually going to happen. Continuing our plot into a world of nothing then.
Here comes the bus.
They all got on the bus and went back to Newcastle.
Genuinely riveting stuff. I'm glad they spent so long repeating the information we can see with our eyes.
When Spuggy went to the allotment that afternoon, he took the radio with him.
No, Spuggy.
Oh, hi, Baz.
What do you bought that thing for?
Mickey Stone, Dad. He's giving out the names to get on his show.
And he's playing the best music.
First on tomorrow's show is a young lad who's got nothing to do with the Great North Run, but he has got a really great fundraising idea. His name is Richard Hilton.
Yay!
Spuggy to his friends.
And that's it. That's your Geordie Racer plot. Of course it is. Of course we're back with these two dickheads. I can actually feel myself about 2 seconds away from smashing my face into a china cabinet.
How did you know Spuggy's real name was Richard?
Well, for one, he's got cameras set up to watch Spuggy's every move. The warning signs were clearly missed with this guy.
My full name is Mr. Watchword, but everyone calls me Mr. What does Spuggy mean?
It's Geordie for
Stotties.
Nicknames, nicknames.
nicknames, none of them are quite the same.
What on earth is this?
Who's gonna get a nickname? Who are you? Who are you?
Michelle Bell.
What do we call her?
Ding Dong.
Why?
Ding Dong Bell.
Well, I suppose that makes sense. What's the next one?
Nicknames, nicknames, none of them are quite the same. Who's gonna get a nickname? Who are you? Who are you?
Neil Moore.
What do we call him?
Lord.
Why?
Lawnmower.
Tenuous. They obviously went to a more polite school than I went to, because this one would have been called Poison Dwarf and this one would have been called Fleabag Shitface. And there wouldn't have been a reason behind it. That's just what you'd be called and you'd have to deal with that.
Spuggy was listening to the radio. Watch his face. First, he stared. Then when he heard his name, he grinned.
Now, I don't want to knock the acting prowess of the young lad playing Spuggy here, but that is the most bizarre grin I have ever seen in my life. Nobody grins with their eyebrows like that. It looks like he's trying to pull the last lass in the bar.
I think we should listen to what the Geordie Bricky has to say about words ending in ED. You can join in if you like.
No thanks. After another spin with the Geordie song, in which the laughing animation gives me an extremely uncomfortable feeling in the pit of my stomach, Mickey Fuckwit and the world's least ergonomic keyboard teach us where Folkestone is, because apparently that's where the racing pigeons are going to start. Or finish, or something. Whatever they're doing, it's fucking boring.
Just look at this. Mickey Ston. That's not right. There's an E at the end of my name. There, that's better.
Somewhere in this radio station, Mickey Ston is wondering why all his post keeps going missing.
Don't you recognise Magic-E when you see it? Oh, I think you need a lesson from the Magic-E wizard. Watch out, Magic-E's about. Hey, let's have a look at the Magic-E song, shall we?
Right, Wordy, I think I've got it. You can see Magic-E at the end of a word, but you can't hear it.
But there's more to it than that. You're a broadcaster. Don't forget to use your ear.
I don't know how he can bear to spend all of his time with this patronising prick.
It's making it sound different.
Oh, that's it.
Although he does seem to have the mental age of a child, so maybe that helps. Finally, we're back to the 2 minutes of story this episode will provide us.
You got on the radio, eh? Congratulations. Can I have your autograph?
That's mine. I hope you'll be back in time. Have you forgotten, man? It's transportation day tomorrow. The birds are off to Folkestone for the race.
Oh, Halloween. Would I forget Blue Flash? Pigeons come first, Dad.
Not a bad place. You'll have to have a look at my loft sometime, Spuggy.
Stay away, Spuggy. Stay well away. There's probably a reason your dad didn't accept that job. After another 4 hours of watching two Geordies fanny about in a shed, Spuggy decides he will actually go and visit the old man's sex dungeon. But as this story is coincidence piled onto coincidence, Spuggy bumps into the man who has done nothing wrong again.
No then, Spuggy lad, you came in. I see you've met Victor. He's taking a few of me birds out for a training toss.
That's what she said.
Oh, up the loft then. Hey, upstairs is an awful trash, eh?
Okay, look, I don't know why they made this look unintentionally terrifying, but they have done, so just roll with it. Up on this weird old man's roof, Spuggy gets to see a pigeon. It looks like every other fucking pigeon. Well, don't just chuck it.
What's that, Baz? A message?
Aye, man, I hope so. Gosforth, Light of St. Mary, 4:30 Saturday. It's a tip, you see, from a friend of mine who knows about the ponies. Horse racing, you know. I always sends me tips by Pigeon. Keeps the birds in fettle. Anyhow, that's the horse to bet on, tell you, Dad. Light of St. Mary.
My dad never bets on horses. He says it's daft.
Or it could be because he's got no money, because he doesn't have a job. Also, this guy would get away with his nefarious wrongdoings a bit easier if he didn't keep making himself look as suspicious as possible.
You go Daft? What do you want to show him that for? Do you want to give the game away? Give off, man. He's only a bed.
Well then, an actual cliffhanger. It looks like Baz is doing something about horse racing. So we've got people racing, we've got pigeon racing, and we've got horse racing, and yet still barely any plot whatsoever. Great stuff. Episode 4 begins with Spuggy telling Janie all about whatever this plot actually is.
Spuggy told her about the message. He had written it down in his stotties.
Hey, Baz said Light of St. Mary was a racehorse, but then I heard Victor shouting at him.
Who's Victor?
You know, that bloke in the blue overalls.
I love the way she instantly knows who he's talking about from this description. Like no one else in Newcastle wears blue overalls.
There's one way to check if it is a racehorse. Have a look in the papers.
What are you doing, man?
Dad, is there the horse race at Gosforth tomorrow?
Horse racing at Gosforth? Why do you want to know that? That's nice sport for young lads.
I just wondered.
Well, there's not. Now, how do we out the house and play, will you?
If this front page news story doesn't come back as a plot point, I will eat my face.
Hey, and I hope you're not planning to wear those old trousers this afternoon.
It's a radio show, Dad. No one will see him.
I will.
Good to finally see the actress who plays the mum getting an important line there. I actually forgot she even existed. Maybe tell your husband to get off his arse and look for a job instead of hogging the fucking newspaper.
So when Spuggy and Mam arrived at Radio Newcastle, Spuggy had his best trousers on.
Never mind the trousers, that jacket Mum's wearing isn't exactly smart dress, is it? Ruddy hypocrite. Meanwhile, Mickey boringly explains how being a DJ works at the BBC.
Keep quiet.
Yep, sounds about right. I guess it's time for another song.
I'm going down to the town for peaches and cream.
I'm ganning down to the tune for stotties and beans.
Literally the only thing Geordies eat, I swear.
Oh, Mickey! Play us this record, Mickey.
Okay, Wordy.
Okay, but listen up. I'm going to break it down.
Cause makes do a doer, see? Ha ha! Hey, words which tell you what people do often end with this. Mickey, you broadcast.
Yes?
So, you're a...
After a mini documentary about pigeons that absolutely no one on earth would find interesting, the crime gang put on yet another song we've already listened to, just to ensure your teachers have time to nip out for another smoke. And then Mickey spoils my prediction by giving the bastard game away.
Here's a copy of the newspaper Dad was reading. Did you see what Spuggy and Janie saw? Big burglary at Gosforth. Gold pendant stolen.
Oh, yes. Spuggy heard you reading the news flash about that.
Look, there's a photograph of the pendant. A pendant's a kind of necklace. It was a very valuable piece of jewellery, not just because it was made of gold, but because it was very old and may have once belonged to a queen.
Ooh.
Here's a picture of her.
Finally, back to this so-called story. Spuggy and his mother arrive in the danger zone, and for a radio station, they sure do seem to play a lot of royalty-free elevator music. I mean, hit after hit.
Hi, Mrs. Hilton and Spuggy, I presume.
Yes, that's right.
It's all right, you don't have to whisper. No one can hear you. Yet.
Well, if that's not a threat, I don't know what is. Oh my fucking god, get on with it!
This is Radio Newcastle. The time is exactly 3 minutes past 2 here on the Mickey Stone Show, and I'm joined in the studio by our first guest fundraiser of the afternoon, young Spuggy Hilton, no less.
Weird surname.
Now tell us about your fundraising idea. It's all to do with racing pigeons, is that right?
Aye, that's right.
I understand you and your dad keep racing pigeons, and you've got this very special one.
Blue Flash, aye. He's brilliant.
Mhm.
And tomorrow he's off to the big race, the Inland National, all the way from Folkestone, 300 miles down south. Him and 20,000 others.
And the faster he flies in the big race tomorrow, the more your sponsors pay to charity. Is that the idea?
That's right.
So how many sponsors have you got so far, Spuggy?
Just one.
Aye, just laugh at the kid, you stupid little shit. Imagine trying to raise money for charity, you pathetic twat. Get off my show, you fucking loser. I mean, seriously, what sort of reaction was that? I know his interview was boring, but there's no need to laugh in his face. Christ. While Spuggy hangs around with a load of sweaty grown men next to a big sign with a rude word on it, much excitement is afoot as men load baskets full of pigeons into a truck. This takes up approximately 2 minutes of the episode, which leaves us with possibly the opposite of a cliffhanger.
What about that driving job, Ray? Starting tomorrow. What do you say? Will you take it?
Aye, I will. If that's your best ending for an episode, would it not have been more exciting to leave his answer until the start of the next one? I mean, no one really gives a fuck if he takes the job or not anyway, but we're just left to watch Spuggy staring at the world's longest handshake now. The entire start of this episode is taken up with video footage of pigeons flying. I could sit on a bench in the middle of town and get the same experience for nowt. Stop wasting my time, Geordie Racer.
No one really knows how they do it, but somehow they manage to find their way home fast.
Jim Nicholson is waiting for his pigeons to finish a race. He can always recognise his own pigeons. The pigeon that he's taken out of the basket is to encourage the racer to come down quickly. Remember, it's the pigeon that gets home fastest that will win. When the racer gets closer, Jim throws this pigeon into the loft. And down comes the racer.
Wait, are you not going to explain what throwing the other pigeon was about? Did he just do that to show the pigeon who's boss?
There are many dangers. There are telephone wires, pylons, hawks, there is shooting, and then, of course, we have adverse weather conditions, any sort of storm.
And men randomly chucking their pigeons on the ground for no reason, presumably. This is all incredibly bloody boring, and now they're playing a song they've already played twice. I'm starting to long for Through the Dragon's Eye. It's gotten that bad.
While that record was playing, Mickey got a message from reception. Look. Oh, plod. Mickey, what's going on?
I haven't had a chance to tell you, but I'm dog sitting today.
You invite someone to one radio interview and the next thing you know, you're dog sitting for them. Family full of sponges, that's what they are.
You just plonk him down there and expect me to get on with my work.
Wordy, there's plenty of room. And I'm planning to play a special plod song.
A plod song? No, it's all a plot. It's quite plain you don't want me around. I'm not playing anymore.
Oh dear, Plod, I think we've upset Wordy. Plod, just for you and me.
It's just the same fucking song again.
All right, here we go.
Are you fucking serious? I'm absolutely losing the will to live. We are a quarter of the way through this episode, and so far, absolutely nothing new has occurred. 7.5 minutes. We're 7.5 minutes into this 20-minute episode of nothing.
I was you by moonlight? Aye, that's kinda odd. Start again, you silly bud.
You're just making fun of dyslexic people now.
Well, Word Watchers, Wordy's made it quite plain he doesn't think much of me at the moment. He's still out there sulking. I hope he comes back soon because we haven't finished making our kite. It's a Magic E kite.
Oh my fucking god, they're gonna play the Magic E song again, aren't they?
Wish someone was here to help me.
11.5 minutes. Over half of the episode dedicated to repeating the same shit over and over again. I've still got 5 bastard episodes of this left. While the family get ready to go for the run they've been banging on about since the start of all this shite, Spuggy heads to the allotment and watches his dog die of boredom. After watching him fanny about in the garden for an hour, he stops for a stotty break when suddenly Blue Flash doesn't appear.
Blue Flash weren't with him, Dad.
Oh, don't panic, man. He'll come.
Hurry, bunny lass. Hurry then. Hurry home, bunny lass. Hurry. Hurry. Hurry, hurry. Hurry, that's it. Hurry.
Baz Bailey had much better luck.
Canny lass.
How they've managed to make this guy the creepiest thing on the show, considering the competition, I'll never know.
Thought I'd drop in, see how you got on. Blue Flash not back yet?
Nah. You've got us beat this time, right enough.
You reckon I have it all, lad? You'd never know my lass had been in the race. She looks out bunny. Gone round and see for yourself if you like, man.
Is every adult in the show dedicated to laughing at Spuggy's misfortune? Anyway, moving this shit along, Spuggy and Janie head to Baz's Pigeon parlour and find another horse racing message. And then that's the end of the episode. The worst episode of any TV show in the entire history of Earth. For those still awake, we're up to episode 6, and Baz hasn't finished gloating to a small child yet.
Welcome to the winning loft.
Are all the times in yet, Baz?
Well, no, but Perfect Lady's the fastest yet, and I can't see anything to beat her. Oh, but I heard bad news at the club, Spuggy lad. There was a bit of a storm on the line of flight, then seems like some of the leading birds were smashed down by it. Maybe Blue Flash was among them, you know? Bad luck.
Maybe look a bit more convincing next time you obviously lie. Anyway, Janie being the only person in this series that isn't as thick as mince, she works out that horse racing probably isn't a crime, and it's instead most likely linked to the various robberies that keep appearing on the front of the newspaper that just so happen to have exactly the same information that Baz's messages do. Clever girl. Most importantly, though,
Back home, Spuggy found a stotty.
it's the only thing they eat.
And there's another thing I didn't understand. I can see why a gold pendant's so valuable. But what's so special about these paintings?
They're old.
Well, that painting on the wall's old. I painted it last year.
No, that's not valuable. It's not old enough, and you're not a famous painter. What is it anyhow? A spaceship?
Give over, man. What is it? It's a lighthouse. Can you not say that? St Mary's Lighthouse.
St Mary's Lighthouse. St Mary's Lighthouse. Light of St Mary.
Coincidence piled onto coincidence. Will it never end? This is a good opportunity for them to fill the runtime with more public transport footage, and when they finally reach the lighthouse in question, that's it. Done. Back to these two gobshites.
Oh, what's happened in the story?
Good fucking question.
You know, I think Janie was right. Spuggy's painting does look more like a spaceship than a lighthouse.
Yes.
Actually, I've got a song here about the lighthouse at St Mary's and how it helped people find their way at night.
Nobody wanted you finding your way about at night.
Stotty. Spuggy found a stotty.
Please play a record for my grandma, Mrs. Betty Wilson. I go round to her house every Sunday for tea. She makes the best something or other in Newcastle. I wonder what that word can be.
It's going to be stotties, isn't it?
Oh, Mickey, what do people eat lots of in Newcastle, like Spuggy?
Oh, I know. Stotties.
Of course it fucking is.
You can't just stick an ing on every word. Look. It won't work with this word. What would you do about that?
Hide.
Mickey, of course, knows all about going into hiding, but that's enough of all this shite. 50 songs later, we're back to the actual story again, and I'm going to guess this is definitely foreshadowing.
Spuggy, I think the tide's coming in. I think we ought to wait. Nah.
Now, because this show doesn't actually have a plot, I just want you to understand that the vast majority of what you actually get to watch in any given episode is two children wandering around while stock music plays over the top.
Jenny, come and look.
Finally, they've done it. They've found the fucking plot. Now, how much do you want to bet the tide has come in?
There was a phone box by the main road. We can call the police.
I am shocked and surprised.
There was nothing they could do but wait and wait.
Incidentally, he's just summed up what every viewer of this show has been doing since episode 1, but I will, just for this one moment in time, praise the show ever so slightly here, because when the man comes to fill up the truck with all the gold and whatnot, we're all led to believe it's most definitely going to be Victor again, but joke's on you, because it's actually Spuggy's dad, who luckily stops and takes his hood off in order for us to see his face. He does this just so he can look confused at the ocean. Top marks.
Spuggy didn't sleep at all that night. His dad couldn't be mixed up in crime.
I think everyone in this show is mixed up in crime in one way or another. Spuggy contemplates grassing up his dad all night before stropping off before breakfast, which we all know is a very un-Spuggy thing to do.
Poor lad. He loved that blue flash.
Ah. But You cannot be a pigeon man if you cannot take your losses.
Yeah, just get over it, Spuggy. Your pet's dead.
Hello, word watchers. Did you hear what Spuggy's dad just said? Listen.
You cannot be a pigeon man if you cannot take your losses.
Stop recording people without permission, Mickey.
That's a good bit of Geordie talk for you. People who come from round here often have their own way of saying things, and even their own words. You'll have heard plenty in the story. Do you remember this?
Stotty.
Now, here's something else for you to listen to. 2 Geordie songs sung by Geordie children. They're about the sea and fishing. 2 very important things here on Tyneside. See if you can hear any more Geordie words.
Bobby Shafto's gone to sea.
No surprise to see this in his collection. Important news, though. Wordy has written a story. Hopefully one with more plot than this.
I've recorded a story specially for your next show. It's called The Hunt for the Silent Giant by Wordy.
Oh, thanks a lot. But before I actually broadcast it, I think I'll let the boss hear it, Wordy. See what she thinks.
Oh, she'll think it's brilliant. It's full of action and excitement.
The Hunt for the Silent Giant. The title's full of words ending with NT.
Oh, yes, and so's the story.
A word ending in NT certainly sums up these 2. After playing the same song again, as well as the Magic E song again.
The Magic E Wizard certainly wants to make sure we remember the power of Magic E. See words change before your very eyes. Ooh, here he comes again.
And then again. I'm sure you're all well aware at this point that my patience has worn down to a nub.
Hi, Wordy. I've just seen the boss. It's, bad news about the story, I'm afraid.
What? Oh, come on, Mickey, don't mess me about. She loved it.
Loved it? No, just the opposite. She hated it.
She what? I don't believe it.
She said it was boring.
But I thought it was exciting.
She said it was too long.
Well, if that doesn't sum up this entire fucking show, I don't know what does. Let's get back to it. Victor turns up to Baz's brown parlour with a pigeon. Can you guess which pigeon it is? Can you? Can you guess?
Now I've got the 2 funniest pigeons in Newcastle. Perfect Lady and Blue Flash. When I pair Blue Flash with my own Perfect Lady, they'll have the fastest youngsters ever. I'll win every race it's ever flown, Victor. Never mind pigeons.
You know what? I agree with Victor more and more as this story goes on. Fuck pigeons. Nobody cares about pigeons. They have absolutely nothing to do with the actual story unfolding. They're just there. They're just a thing that's happening that no one cares about. And while these 2 bang on about pigeons, Spuggy has found Mickey's calling card and a phone booth, which is most definitely the last thing this lad needs on his plate right now.
Spuggy was waiting for Mickey when he came out of the studio.
Hi, Spuggy. Did you win?
Nah, Blue Flash never came back. He's lost. But I came to ask you if you'd seen something about it on your show.
The lost pigeon spot, sure. I'll mention it on tomorrow's show, okay? Ask everyone to keep their eyes open. Bet he turns up anyway. Is there anything else on your mind? Well, I'm always ready to listen. Anytime you like.
For the love of God, this just gets worse and worse.
Dad?
Oh, you're back then? Your mum was worried slamming out like that.
Where are you going, Dad?
Work. Baz has got a couple of runs he wants us to do.
No, Dad, please, don't go. Stay home.
Huh?
Please.
Oh, give our man. You're making an awful fuss about a pigeon.
Maybe if you actually just explain what the problem is, your dad would listen to you. God, kids are stupid.
We're supposed to be doing a job at the recreation centre, moving some stuff, you know. But all they can think about is this Great North Run. Nobody's got time to speak to me. Nobody sent me a plan. What am I supposed to do without that? We just get lost in that place and never come out.
Oh, hey, you will and all. Hey, it's an awful place to find your way around. I know. I worked there for a while.
Did you really? Well, luck's in after all then, eh?
How do you mean, like?
Well, maybe you could draw us a little map of the place. So we know where we're going, eh?
Aye. Right.
I'm not sure I could draw you a map of my current workplace, let alone somewhere I used to work. Anyway, that's the end of the episode. A show that started off boring and somehow managed to get worse as it went along. The knowledge that I only have 3 more episodes to watch is the only thing that's keeping me alive. Episode 8 starts with an image, followed by a transition that could not be any more apt.
Spuggy tried to talk to Mickey Stone.
The kids are on the trail of the next clue, and it's back to the cellar they accidentally ended up in on episode 2. This time, though, they're actually meant to be there instead of conveniently stumbling across the plot. In amongst the cellar junk, there's a set of old paintings, which Spuggy still cannot comprehend the price of because he's as switched on as a pile of rocks. The kids decide to do a stakeout and they spot Victor, and of course we have to go and endure this shit again.
So Janie took a photograph of the stolen paintings. Photographs are real evidence.
Maybe remind Mickey when he comes back to the studio. After another song we've already heard, it's time to check up on the northern nonce.
Aha! A message from Mickey.
After another song we've already heard, this being the BBC, of course they spend some time plugging their other products.
Still no sign of Mickey. And just when I've got something really special I want to show him. Look.
Looks shit, but at least we don't have to listen to another song we've already heard before.
Hang on. Another message. Whoa. Off to ride a bike. How long's that gonna take? But look, Mickey seems to have got the message too. He's got Magic Key really sorted out at last. It's all thanks to our kite and the Magic Key wizard. And away!
And there it is. I've truly given up at this point.
This is Mickey Stone, BBC Radio Newcastle, and I'm at the city centre fire station. Bob, you're raising money for a local children's hospital for the burns unit. Are you doing it all via sponsorship?
Yeah, that's right. We're selling tickets at 10 pence each to the public. We're asking them to guess how long it's going to take us to ride the event. And we've got several good prizes if they guess right.
Didn't laugh at these guys raising money for charity, did you? Coward.
Feel free to have a go if you'd like.
All right, go on. You talked me into it. Got a high saddle, though, this I must... Oh! This is not easy. It takes a fair bit of getting used to. I think rather you than me doing Land's End to John O'Groats. Best of luck to you.
Okay, thanks very much.
What an exciting feature that was. Let's get back to the advert.
But now you're here, I want to show you this. The new Geordie Racer computer game. And I'm in it. Oh. Look, I've got to a bit that's all about carrier pigeons. They've got messages for us.
Can I play?
Yes. Sit down and have a go. And the word watchers can help you. It's much better fun if we all play it together. Now, press that.
What? This?
Yes. Ha! There's me.
What's that for, Wordy?
It means press the space bar, Mickey.
Oh, which is that? Oh, look, there's Blink.
I mean, this literally is just an advert. I don't need to watch this wrong and pretend he doesn't understand what words mean. Let's get back to the non-story. The kids have finally done something worthwhile and gotten some photos developed that prove what's going on. But now it's time for Spuggy to bounce his brain cell off a brick wall and confront his dad, who clearly has no idea what is going on, because Spuggy is a raging idiot who took 8 episodes just to get to this point and still got things confused.
That pendant was hid at St. Mary's. And ye picked it up for Baz.
And you thought I knew? I needed a job, man. I wanted to work. I drove Baz's truck, but I need crook, man. Seems I'm mixed up with a lot of crooks. That's what's the matter.
Why wouldn't you just ring the police? Literally nothing good would come from confronting them with these photos.
We're going to help ourselves to the takings at the recreation centre. Thanks to this bonny little map you drew for us.
Oh, I never knew that's what you wanted it for.
Nobody's going to understand that now, are they, Ray?
Truthfully, I'm rooting for Baz at this point. He's the only one who does anything interesting.
Dad didn't know what to do. But by the time he'd got home, he had made up his mind. He must go to the police.
Grass.
Dad! Mum's had a fall. She's tripped over plod, and I think she's broken her leg.
Well, if that isn't the most random cliffhanger you could throw in at the end of an episode, I don't know what is. A broken leg is merely another excuse for no one in this house to work. Dad finally got a job and he gives up just because it was against the law. They'll do anything to get out of a hard day's graft.
What did the police say, Dad?
They said, thanks.
Good work, police.
5 days now since you tell the police, and Baz and Victor are still dotting about. Free as birds.
Look, man, if I've told you this once, I've told you 1,000 times. The police want to catch them red-handed, but I don't know what day the raid's planned for, so they're keeping an eye on the recreation centre.
But why can't they just...
But the police cannot watch it forever. They've got too much else to do.
Now, I'm pretty sure that if someone tipped them off as to who was behind 2 major crimes in the region, the police would probably do a little bit more than watch a recreation centre for a bit, until they get bored and go and apprehend a teenager for drawing a cock and balls on the pavement outside Mothercare.
Tomorrow was the day of the Great North Run.
Oh yeah, I forgot this was a thing. Nobody's been running for ages. I've never known a story to have so many threads and still have nothing interesting to say.
It was Mum I felt sorry for. A broken leg and in plaster.
A leg in plaster? Huh. It was all the fault of that lazy-bones Plod.
Poor old Plod. You really don't like him, do you?
No, I don't.
You missed his song, you know. I think you'll love it. Especially the end.
Yeah, the end sounds good. We don't need to hear that for the 14th time. We get an educational segment that holds no comedy whatsoever, unless I just play this clip without any context.
Special horses.
Something about that sentence just puts a big smile on my face. Another song we've already heard turns up, then Wordy dresses up as a circumcised cock. Then another song we've already heard turns up, and I think you're probably sensing a theme right now. You may well argue that I could simply skip these segments altogether, but if I have to suffer this misery, then you do as well. That's the way it works. Those are the rules.
All together now.
Is it ever going to stop?
As Dad said, they wanted to catch Baz and Victor red-handed.
Red-handed? You mean like this?
No, silly. It's just a turn of phrase. It means catch them actually committing the crime.
So then they couldn't possibly say it wasn't them.
That's right. Now, when something serious like that happens, our newsroom get to hear about it almost at once. Actually, that reminds me, I haven't given them a ring this morning. Hello, newsroom?
Don't worry, Mickey, you're not on the newsreel just yet. Give it time.
Just think it'll be me out there next time.
Right, story time, if we can even call it that. Everyone is getting ready for the Great North Run, which is what this series opened with, and so far it has done absolutely nothing in terms of moving the story forward. We get a 2-minute scene of everyone getting ready. It's really interesting. It's really, really interesting.
Right, now, are you sure you've had enough to eat, Pet? Aye, Mum. And you've got everything you need? Aye, Mum.
Aye, it's an awful shame you're not running with this, Bev.
Well, it's my own daft fault. I shouldn't have fallen over the dog.
Aye.
Are you coming to watch then?
Maybe later on. I've got to see to the pigeons first. Hey, good luck, Dad, right?
Thanks, son.
Just good luck to his dad. Doesn't give a fuck about his sister. Nice lad, that Spuggy.
Right, ta-ra, Mum.
See you later.
Aye.
Maybe you wouldn't have fallen over the dog if your carpet didn't look like it was made out of dog hair. He's basically camouflaged.
Morning, Mrs. Hilton.
Oh, hello, Mickey.
Heard about your accident.
Come to interview the culprit, have you? Come in.
Thanks. So it's your fault, is it? Well, no, it's you I've come to interview, actually. I hope you don't mind. It's a real hard luck story.
Is there really nothing else going on in Newcastle right now?
I was going to take the radio and listen to the run down the allotment.
Well, I've got the car outside. I can give you both a lift.
Me dad says the police says there's not enough real evidence yet. They're gonna have to catch him red-handed, but
they can't watch the recreation centre forever.
Aye. If only we knew when, Janie.
They'll get caught, Spuggy. Crooks always do at the end. I'll see you later.
Right.
And don't worry. Tra.
Tra.
Hi, Spuggy.
Hi.
You must be the only two people in Newcastle who aren't going to the run. You should see the crowds.
Yeah, the most important moment in Newcastle, and their only journalist is interviewing a woman who fell over a dog. Anyway, Janie coincidentally finds Baz and Victor because nothing happens for any actual reason in this story.
Right now. I'll see you in an hour at the metro exit. Right. Have a good time at the centre. I will.
Better lock the door. Maybe this burglars are good.
Janie was locked in, and the raid was on.
That narrator makes things sound a lot more exciting than the absolutely nothing I feel right now, but let me cast aside that numbness, because finally, thank every god in the book, it's time for the final bloody episode. Finally, we're here. It's the Great North Run and Janie is trapped on a boat, and there's also a raid about to happen at a recreation centre, and also Janie found Blue Flash. Really just tying up all of the loose ends at once, aren't we?
Janie wrote a message.
Are you Blue Flash? If you are Blue Flash, fly home.
Thing is, she's already said she doesn't know how to tell pigeons apart. She has no idea this is Blue Flash. For all she knows, this pigeon could live 400 miles away. Imagine getting that message with absolutely zero context. Lucky for Janie, she lives in a world where coincidence always saves the day. But what I want to know is how on earth do they even find their way home anyway? Spuggy gave us a complete non-answer, so we need to bring in an expert.
Even our pigeon expert, Jim Nicholson, doesn't really know.
This is a question that there are no answers.
Okay, well I guess we'll just never know then. And stop juicing that pigeon, you maniac.
Where?
What's that? Mickey!
I'm the Bug Papa at your service.
Nobody likes you and nobody wants to watch you, whatever the hell you are. And nobody wants to hear this song again either. So let's get straight back to the finale and see how many more coincidences they can pack in. The Great North Run has begun, but I don't actually think that has anything to do with anything. So instead we cut to Baz, Victor and a random man entering the recreation centre.
In we're going.
More important than all of that, Blue Flash is finally back with the message from Janie.
Blue Flash, you bunny lad! Where you been, man, Mickey! The raid! Look! It's a message from Janie.
Calm down, Spuggy.
We should have known it'd be today. Because of the run, we must do something.
Right, get in the car.
Always trying to get people into his car, this lad. Now, what follows are multiple scenes where not an awful lot happens. The Great North Run footage intercuts everything every 5 seconds, but essentially, Spuggy, once again, coincidentally finds the gang and follows Victor onto a train. He then follows him for what feels like 3 hours, but for some reason Victor is going to meet Baz, who he was already with anyway, and then Spuggy runs off with the money and we get a chase scene that goes on for another 3 hours. To throw in another dollop of coincidence, Spuggy comes across the Great North Race and just so happens to spot his sister, the odds of which I can't even comprehend. Look how many people are here. He passes her the bag and now she runs for 3 hours until she falls over. I think this is all meant to be quite exciting, but I cannot overstate just how long this goes on for.
I think I'll take that bag now, if you don't mind. Bonnie lass? Oh! Never let it go. Hey, look out! The bridge is opening!
Anyway, the police turn up and catch the bad guys, and then everyone waves at each other for some reason.
So, quite a day for Spuggy and the rest of the Hilton family, and Janie Chung, and of course Blue Flash. I'm very pleased to say that all Cath and Ray sponsors are happy to pay up, even though they didn't quite make it to South Shields. Blue Flash is about to get some well-earned special feed-free supper, and Bev Hilton's come up with yet another fundraising idea. Tell us about it, Bev.
Well, it's a sponsored sign, you see. How many names can you get on a plaster cast? And you can go first.
And there we have it. It is done. This family has been on the news roughly 6 times this week, ranging from stories such as "Sponsor my pigeon" to "I fell over a dog" to "We were embroiled in organised crime." What a massive pile of shit this all was. But you know, there are 2 good things about it. 1, it's finished and I never have to look at it again. And 2, the theme tune. The theme tune we all know and love, and it hasn't even been played once during this whole entire video. So you know what? Let's get it over with. I know it's what you've all been waiting for. It's time for the soothing sounds of
flying free, flying high, flashing wings across the sky. Geordie Racer, on the road, in the street, hear the sound of pounding feet. Geordie Racer, don't wait, don't stop, you're heading home. Don't rush, don't drop, you're heading home. In the air, on the ground, see them moving all around, running hard, flying fast, see them all go rushing past. Geordie Racer.
Special horses.